Hello, my name is Renzo. I'm a 21-year-old living in Utah.
I feel like I'm tired of having my feet in the ground. I wanna see what's beyond all the clouds.
I love music, watching movies, analyzing them, reading books, and just learning overall. I love learning. Every day I try to learn something else, something new.
I knew that there was something different about this kid. He came into the class with no formal training, no musical experience, and he started teaching himself Chopin. He fell in love with the music of Chopin, which was unusual for a kid of his age. And the fact that he was teaching himself to play it instead of learning the simple songs from our beginner books was just incredible.
I first realized I struggled with mental illness in high school. When we started learning about it, I realized that I had it as well. And what I have is manic depressive disorder, and my moods just go up and down like a roller coaster all the time. It could be a month where I'll be happy and a month where I'll be really sad, and it just happens all the time. During high school, I got into an accident where I got beat up in the street unconscious, and I had to get better, so I started going to therapy, and that's when I was officially diagnosed with PTSD and manic depressive disorder.
It was devastating when Renzo got beat up and suffered a traumatic brain injury. I remember visiting him at the hospital. He was just the same kind, polite, good kid as always. But from that point on, I noticed that he started to withdraw. I knew that he was suffering some pretty serious emotional trauma. It was really devastating to see what that accident did to him.
Therapy did help a lot to just have an unbiased opinion on what I was thinking at the time. My doctor really helped by just listening to all my problems, and I couldn't be more thankful to her. My mental illness has taken away my ability to be balanced with my emotions. When something happy happens, I get too happy, or when something sad happens, I get too sad. And then to come back to normal, it's very difficult. I'm never really in balance with what I feel. It's one way or the other most of the time. I haven't gained too much from my mental illness, but I have tried to control my emotions a bit more. And most important for me is that I'm able to empathize with people who have similar problems, and I can understand them a bit more and how they feel, because I've been there and I'm still there. What helps me the most from family and friends is that the mood swings are really difficult on them. I could be happy and then sad more than usual, and it's hard for them to adapt because not all of them understand, and it helps a lot when they just listen rather than ask me why, because I can't explain why. It just happens. What I wish people would understand is that mental illness is just like any other medical problem. It affects your brain, it affects your moods, it can actually affect your personality as well. Sometimes I've got to the point where I don't even know who am I anymore, because I don't know how to control my feelings as much. Even though I try to, it's hard, and it really changes a person. I've heard from many family members that I'm not the same as how I was maybe 5-10 years ago as a kid, and I don't even remember how I was before I started realizing that I had a problem. So I really don't know how long I've had it for. I work as a CNA in a nursing facility, so during this COVID-19 crisis, I actually feel happy that I'm able to help in some way with the elderly. Everyone has a family, and just to be able to tell them that we are taking care of them to the best of our abilities, that's a really happy feeling, and it truly does help with my mental illness, just to know I'm able to help.
Renzo and I kind of lost touch after he finished my class, and when he responded to my request for people to share their stories of mental illness, I was so excited to hear from him. Watching his footage has made me so proud of the man that he has become and how he has used music to help him cope with the difficulties of his life, and he hasn't forgotten it. And he is an inspiring young man.
I love to make music, and if there's an advice I can give on trying to get better, is that you shouldn't bottle anything up, especially if you have a mental illness. You should talk about your feelings and what's going on, and hopefully the person that you're telling this to understands you and is able to just listen. It's much better than just keeping everything inside and then exploding one day. After my therapy ended, I had to look for other ways to control my emotions, so I started making music. It's sort of the same way as putting your feelings out there, except that I just put them in songs, and it really does help. It is like therapy for me. Just playing the piano for the sake of playing the piano and making music, it is the most helpful thing for me.
I feel like I'm tired of having my feet in the ground. I wanna see what's beyond all the clouds. Out of this world, out of the dirt. Maybe my world would just twirl.